What's going on, everyone? So this Jimmy Butler situation, it's like a movie, right? Like, it is crazy and wild what is happening right now. I mean, like, Miami's taking shots and just suspended him, right? Like, remember Jimmy's agent was talking all that mess to Shams. Turns out Shams is right? There's just like all this drama. Is Heat culture really a thing still, right? Like, Pat Riley, he's not with the modern times, right? He's just chasing stars away, like, and it's getting ugly. It's getting bad. Now the Players Association is getting involved because they're trying to stop the suspension, and so it's like, you can't make this stuff. Like, this is the best soap opera on television right now, right? Like, this is crazy, and it is honestly in all parties' best interest to get this trade done sooner rather than later, right? Like, supposedly Miami wants to get this done ASAP. Apparently they are incredibly active in the trade market and fielding offers and taking calls and making calls and doing all that stuff. They seem to be kind of like, hey, let's try to get this sooner rather than later type thing. But, like, they really do need to get this done sooner rather than later. This is not a good look for the players. I mean, the players are having to deal with all this noise and all of this, like, every question's about, like, how do you feel about Jimmy and what's going on with Jimmy? And you see, like, Bam and Tyler Hero, who, like, Jimmy's their guy, right? Like, what they probably want to say is, like, Miami is, like, messing this up, right? Like, and it's a mess right now, right? Like, but you're putting the players in such a bad situation. You're leaving bad tastes in everybody's mouths, not only on the team, but in other teams. You don't think that they're all noticing and hearing and seeing what is going on with Miami right now? And Miami wants to still be a contender. They still want to maintain and actually be competitive, right? Like, what stars or guys are watching what's happening with Jimmy Butler right now and going, you're like, you know what? I want to go to Miami. That's the place, right? Like, no. I think they are a dumpster fire right now. It is a mess. And they need to pick a lane and pick a direction ASAP, right? Supposedly, based on reports, Miami believes that Boston is beatable, which I don't, like, disagree. I said myself, I don't think that there is a juggernaut in the NBA. Cleveland looks like it this season, but we've seen a lot of, like, really good teams in the regular season. Same thing with OKC. They did it last year too. A lot of, like, really good teams in the regular season. Playoffs are just a different beast. We'll see if Cleveland is able to actually make it out. Even if they do, that doesn't mean that, like, they're not beatable. Like, there's no Kevin Durant on the Warriors, and it's just like, you might as well just pack up the season, right? They're just gonna win it. Good luck, right? I just don't see that in the NBA right now. So I do agree that, like, Boston's beatable. Makes sense for Miami to kind of stay in the thick of it. But it's just, one, if you really do want to stay in the thick of it, you need to get this trade done sooner rather than later. So, one, you can acclimate guys. You can kind of figure out what you need to do. But also, so you can get this distraction out of the way. This isn't good for the team and camaraderie and Eric Spoelstra and all. Like, this isn't a good situation for anybody to be in. But I really do think that, okay, Miami wants to win. Well, what's the best, like, package for that, right? Because, like, one, I'm curious. So there's a lot of teams that are apparently interested and linked to Jimmy Butler. I wonder how many teams are actually making calls. I'm sure every team is calling, but how many teams are actually, like, trying to get Jimmy Butler? I think it's a lot less than people probably think. Because he's just making so much money, his age, right? He could just leave in the offseason, right? Jimmy Butler said he wants to play anywhere else. He literally is like, I'll play for all other 29 teams except for the Miami Heat. Like, he's like the first guy to ever request a trade and not have, like, a list of teams that he wants to go to, right? He's just like, I'll go anywhere, right? Like, send me wherever you want to send me at this point. Because he's just done with the situation. All parties are done with the situation. And again, it's in everyone's best interest to just kind of break free from each other, right? Like, the relationship is toxic, right? It's time to divorce. But the reality is, like, how many of those teams, like, would he actually, okay, sure, maybe he'll go and finish the season, but how many teams is he actually going to stay with, right? Like, if they trade him to Charlotte, right? Like, is he, like, going to be like, yep, sticking around? Like, no, he's probably going to be like, okay, where's the place I could leave in the offseason to give me the best chance to win a championship? Because, I mean, how many years does Jimmy Butler have left? Like, 2, maybe 3, realistically. Right? Like, so I don't even think like any of these bad teams would probably even trade for him anyway. Right? So you're probably looking at these teams that, are like the Warriors, who desperately need to get somebody for Steph. Like, desperately. The Warriors are a dumpster fire right now as far as play-wise goes. They went from looking like the best team in the league to like reality setting in and the law of average playing out, and everyone came to the realization of like, oh, the Warriors aren't a good basketball team, and Steph Curry has to essentially be Superman every night in order for them to just have a chance to win, and they really need that guy. And it's just like, man, nobody wants to see Steph in a playoff series. You really want to see Steph and Jimmy Butler in a playoff series? Probably not, right? Like, it's probably the last two guys you want to see teaming up together. Now, and then beyond that, you have teams like the Spurs and the Rockets have been linked to Jimmy. In my opinion, stay away from Jimmy, right? I don't know if Jimmy by himself makes you a contender. Now, if you're going to go get Jimmy and look to make him, like if you're the Spurs, right? Maybe you go trade for Jimmy Butler and then you look to acquire De'Aaron Fox or something like that when he becomes available. Sure, that kind of makes sense. But even then, I just like, go get De'Aaron Fox. But Jimmy just has such a, more likely than not, a very small window. And if you're a team, you need to understand this. You need to be able to trade the players and pieces that are necessary, but also understand and be able to work around that tight window. And I just think that there's very few teams that can do that. Phoenix, if I'm Phoenix, I am doing everything in my, whatever they have to do to get Brad. Hey, you want to win? You want to still stay competitive? Bradley Beal, he's not working for us because he's playing alongside Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who are essentially the same players at different scales, different levels, right? So like, he just doesn't fit. He just doesn't make sense. But before that, he'd probably get back to being a 35-5 guy. So, like him, Bam, you can look, trade Tyler Hero, right? Like, if I'm the Suns, I am doing everything in my power to go get Jimmy Butler. Because again, you are in that window. And Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, first off, no one would want to play that in a playoff series. But secondly, right, like him, those two guys with Devin Booker would be terrified. Like, I still would want to see it, for one, and I still worry about the other pieces around them. But it's so much better of a fit. It makes so much more sense. And I just, like, it has the potential to be like, uh-oh, right? Problem is like, if the Suns take too long, it might be too late by the time you do it, right? Like, if you go and do that, right, and like you're the 13th seed and you're like 5 games out of a playoff spot, you might not be able to catch those guys because Kevin Durant's probably still going to miss some time. Devin Booker's probably going to miss some time. Jimmy Butler's probably going to miss some time, right? Like, it's a tough spot to be in, right? So, like, but if you're the Suns, I think you do whatever you have to, right? Like, that might be the best place for Jimmy. It might be the best place for all parties involved, right? And kind of allows Phoenix to kind of correct their mistake, even if you don't win this year, right? Like, you now have just, again, better complementary pieces to where you can make some moves in the offseason, maybe bring some guys in. Jimmy Butler, maybe he opts out, maybe be willing to take less money if he's on a place that he wants to be and actually competing for championships. He just wants to win. I mean, even the reports came out that said, like, Jimmy Butler's been pushing Miami the last 3 years to get something done, and they haven't, which I fully believe. I mean, every time any type of star or like quality player is mentioned as available, Miami immediately is linked to them. Part of that, I think, is just it's Miami, it's destination, right? Like, they're not like the LA, New York market, stuff like that, but you got the beach, the weather, the girls, the nightlife, all of that stuff that all these young guys would love to go to, right? Miami's always going to be a destination, just like LA and stuff, right? So to me, it's just I could see those reports being true, and Jimmy Butler's like, dude, Jimmy Butler's done more with less than probably any star in the league. And it's like, can you get me some help? Can you get me somebody that I can rely on a nightly basis and handle some of the workload so I don't have to like do everything night in and night out? But it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you that. This is going to be a fun little experience, however long it lasts. So strap in and get ready, because it's going to be a ride. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle, somewhere in between, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.